first on the Gulf Coast with breaking news and weather. Fox 10 Midday starts now.
Well, happy Monday to you and welcome into Fox 10 Midday. I'm Ashlyn Mitchell.
And I'm meteorologist Hannah Fink.
Hannah, we had a stunning weekend this past weekend, but I have to ask, will this continue? I think that's the question on all of our minds right now.
I mean, we're at that time of year where we're in that weird phase. I've noticed it since I moved down here for college. We have those cooler mornings where you need a light jacket. By the time you get out in the afternoon, you're like, what happened?
It's summertime.
It's so hot. So we're still going to see a few days of that, but temperatures are a little bit warmer this week. There's a lot going on atmospherically. We'll get into the details of that later on, but let's take a live look outside. Plenty of sunshine for our day, and look at the water over in Orange Beach. It's looking nice and calm. Nice break from what we had last week with all those risks of high rip currents out there. Then blue skies also. A lot of us are getting close to 80 degrees, already 81 degrees in Orange Beach. Temperatures right now across the area, definitely seeing that warm up. We have 77 in Monroeville, 75 in Leakesville, 79 in Pascagoula, 79 in Mobile, as well as Fairhope, 81 in Gulf Shores, 75 in Molino, and 81 degrees in Crestview. Temperatures today are going to continue to go up. We're seeing a high about 85 degrees across the area on average. We're going to be in that 80 degree range throughout the entirety of the afternoon. By the dinner time hours around 6 o'clock, we slowly get back into the 70s. So definitely a warm day, but luckily our dew points are holding off. So we're not going to add on to that feels like temperature. So right now we're in that pleasant category. That brown shading just basically means you're not going to feel any humidity when you walk out the door today. You can see over the next 10 hours we're staying well into that dry category for our Monday, which is great out there, especially if you have any outdoor plans today. The kiddos have practice. Just make sure they do have some water with these warmer temperatures. But we're going to continue to see that sunshine will be at 83 degrees by 2 o'clock, 83 degrees by 4 o'clock. Sunshine will continue until we get to sunset tonight. But our 5-day forecast, you can see definitely above average. We usually see temperatures around 81 degrees this time of year. Then rain chances start to slowly come back into the forecast. I'll explain the rest of your forecast for your Monday as well as why we'll see these rain chances coming up.
For the people near the water, it could be bad, the roads and the wind.
Yeah, folks in coastal areas up and down the East Coast are waking up to a major storm today. A nor'easter slamming the U.S. with the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic the hardest hit areas. In Freeport, New York, folks are used to this type of weather. The town was hit hard by Superstorm Sandy, but officials are still sounding the alarm about possible coastal flooding when the high tide cycle sets in.
The tide doesn't go out all the way, and you have a new tide coming in 12 hours later, it builds it up. And that's why it's been progressively getting worse for the last few days.
The National Weather Service issued coastal flood warnings from the Outer Banks to Long Island, and New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy has issued an emergency declaration for the entire state. The good news is that we're expecting conditions to improve by tomorrow morning. And we're continuing to follow the latest on some breaking news from overnight. Hamas has released all 20 remaining living hostages held in Gaza as part of a ceasefire, pausing 2 years of war that pummeled the Gaza Strip. A convoy carrying the first of the surviving Israeli hostages out of Gaza is cheered by Israelis coming home after more than 2 years of captivity. The release starting just as President Trump touched down in Israel. The president is in the region this morning for the culmination of this deal that he has been pressing for months now. But there are difficult conditions, including the release of some 2,000 Palestinian prisoners held by Israel. While this could end the conflict in Gaza that left thousands dead, there are tough talks ahead about the future of Gaza after this devastating war and the role that Hamas will play.
Negotiations begin supposedly on Tuesday, and everybody who is looking at this knows this is a difficult challenge ahead.
From Israel, the president moves on to Egypt for a gathering of more than 20 world leaders to determine what comes next for the region. Well, the shutdown in Washington is now in its third work week, and with payday for the military and some federal workers just a few days away, there's growing urgency for lawmakers to reach an agreement to reopen the government. Fox's Caroline Shively has the latest from the nation's capital.
A quiet day on Capitol Hill Monday with the federal shutdown now in its 13th day. Lawmakers are out of town for Columbus Day, meaning there will be no votes to reopen the government. And the two sides still appear far from an agreement on reopening or the health care subsidies Democrats are demanding.
Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the presidency, and unfortunately, they've made the decision to take a my way or the highway approach.
Republicans have already said we were going to have thoughtful conversations, deliberation, and debate about continuing the COVID-era Obamacare subsidies because they don't expire until December 31st.
Those subsidies are not the only thing on the line. On Friday, the Trump administration announced it would be firing more than 4,000 federal employees, and Vice President J.D. Vance warned more could be coming.
The longer this goes on, the deeper the cuts are going to be. And to be clear, some of these cuts are going to be painful. This is not a situation that we relish.
As long as the government remains closed, federal workers are going without paychecks. That includes the military members who are supposed to be paid on Wednesday. Over the weekend, President Trump said the Pentagon had identified funds to pay troops this week and blasted Democrats for keeping the government closed.
The intensity is growing here, as it should have been on October the 1st. And so I think we will reach a pressure point.
Another casualty of the shutdown, all Smithsonian museums and the National Zoo are now temporarily closed due to lack of funding. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
Well, as we enter almost 2 full weeks of the government shutdown, officials with the Better Business Bureau want you to be aware of scams targeting those who are vulnerable. Officials say they're contacting people through phone calls, text messages, and phishing emails, pretending to be from government agencies like the Department of Human Resources or Veterans Affairs. They're targeting benefits like SNAP, Social Security, and VA payments. From there, officials say the scammers often become aggressive, trying to pressure victims into sharing private information.
So if you click on the link and you start giving them your personal information, like all your veteran benefit IDs, your Social Security number, those kind of things. Again, that's what's going to steal your identity. And so you got to be really careful. People could even give up their bank account information if they think they're going to get a payment from the federal government during this shutdown.
If you think you might have been scammed, the first thing to do is call your bank or credit card company to freeze your accounts. Then report it to the Better Business Bureau. Well, listen to this, a scam alert for Mississippi residents this morning as the Department of Revenue says scammers are sending threatening text messages. The department says people have been receiving these messages claiming they owe money to the state of Mississippi. Almost always, these scams send messages requiring immediate response, and the department wants to warn everyone not to click or respond to them and delete those messages. The Department of Revenue will never send requests for money through text messaging. Well, meanwhile, days after a deadly explosion at a Tennessee munitions factory, investigators are back on scene searching through the debris. 16 people were killed in this blast, and more than 300 authorities are a part of the search efforts to recover the victims. They're using rapid DNA to identify remains, and the cause remains under investigation. Authorities say the explosives company is fully cooperating with the investigation as well. Well, continuing coverage this hour, Foley police are investigating a shooting. We're told it happened shortly before 9 last night along the 1000 block of East Azalea Avenue. Police say the victim was taken to a hospital for treatment, but no word yet on his name or his current condition. Still, anyone with information about this shooting is asked to call Foley police right away. That number is 251-943-4431, or you can do it via email to tips@foleypd.org. Well, Pritchard Police and the Mobile County Sheriff's Office is investigating a homicide this morning. The victim, Willie Cook, was found dead at Cato Avenue and O'Neill Street early Saturday morning. Cook was shot in the chest and arm. If you know anything about this, call the Mobile County Sheriff's Office right away. And meanwhile, Pritchard Mayor-elect Carletta Davis is continuing her listening sessions for citizens this week. Tonight's meeting will be for those in District 1. It'll start at 6 p.m. at High Point Baptist Church. Then on Thursday, District 4 residents are invited to the meeting at Samuel Chapel AME Church. This one will also start at 6. Then the meetings will wrap up next Monday for those in District 3. That one will be held at First Baptist Church of Pritchard. These meetings are your chance to share concerns, hopes, and ideas for the future of the city of Pritchard. Well, straight ahead on Fox 10 Midday, the Pine Hill Recycling Center is now open to the public. Stephen Moody shows us how residents took advantage after the break. But before we go, Hannah, not a bad day to get out and do your recycling.
It really is not, and I know a lot of people have today off for the holiday, but our golf forecast is looking great out there. We have no chance for rain. Temperatures are a little bit on the warmer side, but with dry conditions, we're not adding on to that humidity. So overall, a great afternoon to get out and do anything outdoors. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back into Fox 10 Midday on your Monday. Some great news for you if you recycle in Midtown Mobile. The Pine Hill Drive Recycling Center is officially open. Our Stephen Moody has more on how this will go a long way to help residents in that area.
When I saw this on the news, like I said, okay, I'm ready.
After being closed due to construction for a new office space for employees, the recycling center on Pine Hill Drive is back open. Just to give an idea of how important this is, every year recycling centers here in Mobile help reuse hundreds of tons of materials. And with this center reopening, that number will only grow. And one woman is especially glad to see it back.
Oh yeah, I saw it on the news. I'm like, yeah. I've already called a couple of people. I love it. I missed it. I missed this guy. I love being here. I come here every week and recycle.
Since the center has been closed, Midtown residents have had to use other recycling centers. And the city says they're thankful for that dedication. But there's no place like home.
On my way to work, and I'm at the mall all the time. I shop in this area a lot, so it's easier for me to load and unload here.
Just a reminder, this center is located on 310 Pine Hill Drive, but the city has 2 other recycling drop-off locations. So, wherever you choose to do it, it's just important to do your part.
You save the environment, because I'm an environmentalist. So, if you have anything to recycle, just bring it on. It helps.
Stephen Moody, Fox 10 News.
And the city also sent out a reminder of what is and isn't accepted at these recycling centers. We have a direct link on our website right now at fox10tv.com. Well, in the meantime, an alarming new report shows Earth has reached its first climate tipping point, the widespread death of coral reefs. Coral reefs are an essential habitat for marine species, as we know. They're vital for food security, buffer coastal areas from storms, and contribute heavily to the global economy. But now, as oceans reach record high temperatures, 80% of the world's reefs have been affected by the worst mass bleaching event on record. This report was put together by 160 scientists all around the world. They say the death of coral reefs is just the first of several potentially irreversible climate tipping points. And even bigger impacts are on the horizon if temperatures continue to rise.
Taking a live look outside at Pensacola Beach. Look at the beautiful blue water. We have blue skies and plenty of sunshine. Quite a few people at the beach because some people do have today off. But let's take a look at our weather headlines. We're continuing to track those cooler mornings and very warm afternoons. We do have some atmospheric conditions going on contributing to that. And those sunny and dry conditions continue on. Now here is why we're seeing those above average temperatures. We have this high pressure system that is developing over Texas that is slowly moving through our area. This trough behind me, though, that is what has helped us with those cooler mornings, so that has contributed to that. So I felt amazing over the weekend. This high is going to continue to move through our area. Now, what does this do for us? It increases our temperatures, decreases our rain chances, and also decreases cloud cover. So drier air does move in through the area. Now, this is on Saturday. We have this trough right behind it that's actually going to raise our rain chances as well. So we got to get through this hot beginning of the week. You can see we're above average by about 5 to 7 degrees until about Thursday. Then that high starts to weaken and we start to get back to the average around 81 degrees. We'll be in the mid 80s through the weekend. Here's a look at our rain chances. So we're going to stay at a 0% through Thursday. Then we slowly start to introduce those rain chances. We have a 10% on Friday. Then we have the possibility for scattered showers and maybe thunderstorms for Saturday and Sunday because that trough is bringing a front to our area. So here's a look at what we're tracking. Staying dry through the majority of the day. We could see some coastal showers on Friday. That's why we have that 10%. Then we transition into Saturday where we do really start to increase the coverage. Could see some showers and thunderstorms in our northern spots early Sunday morning. Then that clears out during the lunchtime hours, leaving us with a sunny day and definitely a humid one at that. Forecast highs, you can definitely see we're above average. We have 85 in Pensacola, 85 in Crestview, 85 in Mobile, 84 in Atmore, 84 in Monroeville, 85 in Chatham, and 85 in Lucedale. So our dew points definitely going to help us out, though. Won't be adding on to that feels like temperature because of how dry it is. There is no humidity lingering in the air, so afternoon planner definitely recommend getting outside with these sunny conditions. Temperatures will be well up into the 80s. So if you are at the beach, luckily we do continue to see that low risk of rip currents over the next 3-day period. Definitely recommend some sunscreen, though. Not much cloud coverage to help us out protect our skin from those UV rays. Temperatures will be in the mid 80s as well. We do have Tropical Storm Lorenzo now. As of 10 a.m., it is at 50 miles per hour. And then its pressure is about 1,002 millibars. It's continuing to move northwest at 16 miles per hour. Here's a look at its forecast path. It looks to remain a tropical storm for its life cycle. It curves into the Atlantic, then it looks to curve back towards the east. So this is not going to be a threat to the United States. It looks to stay well off into the Atlantic near the African coastline. So our 7-day forecast shows we're going to stay quite warm until about Thursday. Then that high pressure starts to decrease, starts to weaken, and then that front starts to slowly approach our area. So we're going to start off warm, then we start to go near average, then we introduce those rain chances next weekend. But luckily, our morning lows look to stay on the cooler side until we get into next weekend when they slowly start to approach that 70-degree mark.
Hannah, thank you for the update. If you are out and about today in this nice weather, we do have a traffic alert this morning for drivers in Gulf Shores that might impact your commute for the next 2 weeks. Gulf Shores city officials say the intersection of East 2nd Street and East 24th Avenue will be closed beginning today for about 2 weeks. They say work is being done to improve the local infrastructure. Now, this closure had been scheduled to start last week, but it was postponed to help residents and visitors travel to the National Shrimp Festival in Gulf Shores. Well, right now on the Fox 10 Gulf Stream, some local women are coming together to help end homelessness. These women are part of Habitat for Humanity's Women's Build. Sarah Wall takes a look at the program, who it is helping, and how you can get involved as well. In depth, Women Build is available right on the Fox 10 Gulfstream TV app. And remember, you can join the conversation every weekday live at 9 a.m. Well, it's 11:19 now. Coming up, President Trump attends a peace summit in the Middle East. We have a look after this. Welcome back. As we mentioned earlier, it was an emotional day across Israel as the recently released hostages returned home from Gaza. President Trump was in Israel to celebrate their return before heading to Egypt to discuss the next phase of the ceasefire. Fox News correspondent Rebecca Castor has more.
For the first time in 2 years, there is not one living Israeli hostage being held by Hamas in Gaza. Home at last. One by one, the remaining living hostages reunited with their families in Israel just hours after their release from Hamas captivity. Hearts were placed on their pictures in Hostages Square, marking their return.
When we suffer together. And when we are happy, we're happy together.
President Trump, addressing the Israeli Knesset in Jerusalem, declared this a golden age for Israel and urged the country to work towards lasting peace.
After so many years of unceasing war and endless danger, today the skies are calm, the guns are silent, the sirens are still, and the sun rises on a holy land that is finally at peace.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called the president the greatest friend Israel has ever had in the White House.
Under your leadership, we can forge new peace treaties with Arab countries in the region and Muslim countries beyond the region.
President Trump then traveled to Egypt to finalize his peace plan alongside leaders from more than 20 countries. But the next phase of this deal will likely prove more difficult to implement. That's the disarming of Hamas and the creation of a new governing authority in the Gaza Strip.
I'm hoping that we can finally live in peace. No more missiles, no more anything.
And about 200 U.S. service members will be heading to the region to make sure both sides hold up their end of the deal. But they'll be monitoring the ceasefire from Israel, no boots on the ground in Gaza. In Tel Aviv, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Whether you're celebrating Columbus Day or Indigenous Peoples Day, the controversy of the day is hard to ignore. Today's holiday recognizes Christopher Columbus landing in the Americas back in 1492. Because of Christopher Columbus's Italian heritage, the day is symbolic to a number of Italian Americans. Meanwhile, other people across the country will be celebrating Indigenous Peoples Day instead, with academic experts citing how those people are critical of the impacts Columbus's expedition had on Native American communities.
But for other people, that exact same Columbus is offensive because his imagery, the way in which he's constructed, is very much about a discourse to do with Columbus representing civilization and indigenous peoples representing barbarism.
He was a great Italian explorer. He sailed his 3 ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, across the Atlantic Ocean and landed in what's today the Caribbean.
President Donald Trump recently signed a Columbus Day proclamation. Well, a battle is brewing in Hollywood. We have that story in just a few minutes. Plus, we are just a little over 2 months away from Christmas. How you can plan ahead for your holiday shopping without going into debt. We have some tips in today's Make Ends Meet. Hannah, can't believe we're already talking about the holidays, but not really feeling like it out there.
I mean, it's definitely not feeling like Christmas, I can say that much. A lot of sunshine for our area, and a lot of us are getting close to that 80-degree mark, especially in Mobile, as well as Pensacola. Will continue to warm up this afternoon, but luckily no humidity to add on to an even warmer day. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Committed to you. This is Fox 10 Midday.
Welcome back. A big announcement now from a banking giant. A battle is brewing in Hollywood, and retailers are stockpiling for the holidays. Here's Fox's CJ Papa with today's business headlines.
JP Morgan Chase says it will invest $10 billion in U.S. companies vital to national security. The banking giant plans to take stakes in mineral manufacturers, AI firms, and defense contractors in protecting the U.S. economy amid escalating trade tensions with China. Warner Brothers Discovery reportedly rejecting a buyout offer from Paramount Skydance. The $20 a share offer said to be too low as the battle for the future of the media giant heats up. This after Warner Chief Executive David Zaslav put forth a plan 4 months ago to split the company in two, with the TV and movie studio and streaming into one company and the cable networks into another. And retailers shipped more products to warehouses than usual before tariffs took effect, anticipating shoppers won't be willing to pay higher prices this holiday season. Among those with a lot of inventory, Ralph Lauren, Levi Strauss, and American Eagle Outfitters. The Wall Street Journal says they risk the potential need for deep discounts if products aren't selling at all. Some companies say they have more items than they can sell. Lululemon's inventory was up 21% for the quarter that ended August 3rd. Ralph Lauren's was up 18%. Inventory is up at retailers selling footwear, discounted merchandise, and specialty apparel. CJ Papa, Fox News.
Also this morning, Salesforce announcing it's investing $15 million in San Francisco. This money will be spent over the next 5 years, focusing on workforce development and AI innovation, customer success, and workforce development there in the city. The investment will support a new AI incubator hub on the Salesforce San Francisco campus, and it will also grow the AI ecosystem by investing in workforce development and training. The news was announced just ahead of the company's annual Dreamforce conference, which will welcome nearly 50,000 people to San Francisco this week. Are you still waiting on some imported goods? Yeah, if they're coming from the United Parcel Service, otherwise known as UPS, they might not arrive. UPS says it may toss out imported parcels it's received from overseas if it can't resolve remaining tariff issues on many shipments. The company says import rules and documentation requirements are changing too fast amidst the ongoing trade war, and employees as well as consumers are having a difficult time understanding the customs process. If the company can't clarify who will pay added tariff fees and the customer does not respond, the parcel will be returned to the original sender at their expense or will be disposed of in compliance with the U.S. Customs regulation. UPS does say about 90% of all parcels are cleared the first day they arrive. Well, meanwhile, Spirit Airlines wins approval for a $475 million lifeline and a $150 million payment from aircraft leasing company AerCap. The U.S. Bankruptcy Court for the Southern District of New York approving the lifeline, which will allow the troubled budget airline to continue operating. Spirit filed for a second Chapter 11 bankruptcy back in August, and the company has been slashing routes, cutting back on its fleet, and announced it will furlough around a third of its flight attendants to trim back on costs. It's also communicating with the pilots union to cut around $100 million from that group.
Taking another live look outside at Fairhope Pier, we see those beautiful clear blue skies. Very slight breeze as that flag is waving with some sunny skies out there. People definitely enjoying the outdoors. Taking a look at our temperatures, though, as we go on throughout the day today. Definitely warming up. At noon, we'll be around 81 degrees. And as we continue on through the afternoon, we'll be in the mid to lower 80s. Definitely above average day. Not terrible, though. And as we get into the dinner time hours, we'll be in the mid to upper 70s. Then as we continue on, like we saw with the flag, we do see a little bit of a breeze out there, around 8 to 10 miles per hour, especially. Well, actually, this has gone down since this morning. We're about 5 to 6 miles per hour throughout the afternoon. We still have those northerly winds bring us that dry air. You can see our mug meter over the next 10 hours will stay pretty consistent in that dry category. Then we maybe approach the pleasant category, but you're still not really going to feel any of that humidity as we go on throughout the day today. I did want to mention, though, we're going to have another day of dry air, especially for our Tuesday. But then we start to slowly introduce a little bit of moisture on Wednesday as well as Thursday. But Friday, once that high pressure system starts to leave our area, definitely introducing a little bit more of that moisture. So we'll be back into that a bit humid category. Luckily, though, we're not close to the 70-degree mark yet, so it'll just be more lingering, adding on maybe 2 to 3 degrees to our actual temperature outside. So our afternoon forecast today, another sunny and warm day. Winds out of the north around 6 miles per hour. Will be in the mid-80s around 2 and 4 o'clock. And for your afternoon practices, it will cool down just a little bit. We'll be near 79 degrees by 6 o'clock. Then as we make our way to 8 o'clock, we'll be near 71 degrees. No chance for rain either. Just make sure those kiddos have some water out there. Still a little warm, but luckily no humidity will add on to that. Right now over in Orange Beach, though, the water is looking amazing. Not really much of a rip current threat that we're looking at. 81 degrees with plenty of sunshine. And over the next 10 hours in Orange Beach, you'll continue to see that sunshine will warm up to about the lower 80s throughout the entirety of the day. Then 6 o'clock, we start to get back into that 70-degree mark. We have a low risk of rip currents today at our Alabama beaches as well as our Florida beaches, but always pay attention to those beach flags and be cautious getting into the water no matter what. That's always something to keep in mind. But our UV index shows you're definitely going to want some sunscreen. We're having a high UV over the next 3-day period. Burn time is about 25 to 30 minutes. And then our rip current risk is going to stay low. But on Friday, we transition back into a moderate risk of rip currents. We have about an unsettled weather pattern approaching this weekend, so that's actually going to raise our rip current risk. So that's one thing to keep in mind if you are heading to the beach this weekend. But our 7-day forecast shows a continuation of these warmer temperatures, definitely above average, getting close to that 90-degree mark. Then Friday, we start to go to the mid-80s, closer to our average around 81 degrees. But those rain chances start to slowly come back into the forecast, which we definitely need because we still have those drought-like conditions across the area.
All right, thanks, Hannah. It's hard to believe it's about that time, but the holidays bring lots of cheer, but can also be a challenge for many families trying to stay on a budget. A new survey shows more than a third of Americans went into debt last Christmas. Dongi spoke with a financial expert about how to plan ahead and avoid a blue Christmas this year.
You know those folks who say a month or two ahead of Christmas, I'm already finished shopping. You might want to be that person, and you'll find out why. We get lost in all the chestnuts roasting and all the joy to the world when what you really want for Christmas is to not end up broke.
The holidays are an easy time for indulgence, right? And a lot of times it's unconscious spending.
Michael Scarpetti, a fiduciary retirement specialist and CEO of Retire.us, believes you can have yourself a very merry little Christmas without breaking the bank. However, according to LendingTree's commissioned survey by Question Pro for Christmas 2024, 36% of Americans found themselves in debt.
It's not typically one gift that gets us into trouble. It's the 20 little ones that were never really planned for. And awareness is the antidote at the end of the day.
65% of those in holiday debt, according to the survey, just said charge it. They note the typical average percentage rate ranges from 20.79% to 27.93%. So your debt is quickly increasing as your APR compounds. That can easily lead to a blue Christmas.
It's very easy to get kind of sucked into the holiday spirit, and you kind of, forget emotions drive the decision making instead of the checkbook.
Scarpetti shares 3 wise tips. First,
who are we getting gifts for? And the second is really setting some limits. The third piece is starting as early as you can to start making sure that those that spend is able to be allocated over, maybe 2 months instead of just one.
Have a gift list, a plan, and a longer time to pay.
If you are feeling stressed about the finances, it's because something is missing, and intuitively you know it, right? It's just something that's not being addressed currently.
Let this be a gift to yourself.
The New Year's resolution and financial planning for the new year really starts now. It starts in the holiday season. It's always a little bit sweeter when we can take some of the financial stress off of the table, and that really comes down to being conscious. Financial consciousness is the key.
Lots of great tips there, and very timely for this time of year as well. It's 11:39 now, and straight ahead, the first part of the White House was laid down today, over 200 years ago. We'll explain. Plus, a pumpkin was on the loose in Ohio. We have that story and much more coming up, and take a look at this after the break. Welcome back. Today marks a major milestone in the history of the White House.
On October 13th, 1792, construction began on the building.
Yeah, workers placed the cornerstone for the building on that day.
It wasn't until 8 years later that President John Adams became the first chief executive to live in the White House.
Washington, D.C. replaced Philadelphia as the nation's capital because D.C. was centrally located in the new republic.
The surrounding states of Maryland as well as Virginia gave up some of their land around the Potomac River to form the city.
Now, the White House has undergone some major renovations, including after 1814, when British troops set fire to the building. What an anniversary to look back on, though.
I honestly did not know much of the history of the White House. I mean, I know we've all heard of the White House. We know what it represents, but I had no idea those little details.
Yeah.
Those are not things you just read up in your history books that we had in school.
You know, we were talking, we've never had the chance to go.
No.
Claudia Nichols, who's my sister here at Fox 10, she lived in D.C. for a summer. And
wow.
So she has lots of pictures in front of the White House and obviously all of the D.C. landmarks, but pretty incredible. 233 years is a long time.
It is, and one of my friends, he was on the from the mascot team when I was in college.
Oh.
He says I have to go visit. The life there is just amazing. There's a lot of young people too.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, maybe I need to make a trip out there because I never did the Washington, D.C. trip that they did in middle school.
Gotcha. Okay.
So.
I feel like it's a must-see for everyone, especially if you live here. Well, listen to this. Many communities across the U.S. are marking something called Oktoberfest.
The German festival has a rich tradition that dates back all the way to October 12th, 1810.
Yeah, and that's when Bavarian Crown Prince Louis, who later became Louis I of Bavaria, was married.
The Bavarian royalty invited the people of Munich to attend all of the festivals, including horse races.
Lots of fun. The following year, the same festivities took place, and the tradition of Oktoberfest caught on.
The annual festival is often celebrated either in late September or early October.
October. And some of the holiday traditions include drinking beer and enjoying festive foods like bratwurst. Hannah, you have some German heritage.
I do.
Does your family
yes.
celebrate, or have you done something like this?
I mean, no, we've definitely talked about it. Me and my dad talk about it all the time, how we definitely want to make a trip over to Germany during Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
My last name, Fink, is actually a shortened German name. I'm still trying to research to figure out what the long one was. When they made their way over to the United States, they shortened it to Fink. So that's a little fun history fact about me.
So interesting. And the German culture is so, obviously, as you can tell, vibrant. They love to celebrate. So much fun.
I really want a German pretzel in one hand and then a German beer in the other, and then go tour one of the castles.
Stop. You always bring up food right before 12 o'clock.
I can't help it.
Well, in the meantime, pumpkins and pets need a little help after getting stuck in perilous positions.
Patrick Cornell has those rescues, and take a look at this.
In Parma Heights, Ohio, police pulled up on a pumpkin trying to flee.
I was kind of like following it, and it kept blowing away. And when I went to grab it over here, it just took off.
This festive fugitive rolled down the street before officers got their hands on it, but this large jack-o'-lantern wasn't going down easily.
We're currently struggling with it right now.
These pumpkins are becoming a problem. You may remember last year when a similar giant gourd got loose in nearby Bay Village, Ohio, seemingly swallowing an officer whole. As for our latest orange escapee, police were finally able to wrangle and mostly deflate the Halloween decor, then, with a whole heap of effort, pushing and pulling it through the door of a patrol car.
All right, yeah.
With the thing safely secured, officers drove it home so it could go on display for the rest of the holiday. Another set of first responders swooping in for a rescue in Arizona, where a poor pup took a tumble while out on a camping trip. Unable to walk, rescuers dropped down into the canyon to save the day. With a couple of reassuring scritches and scratches in a special canine harness, rescuers carefully lifted the dog and its owner up to the safety of their helicopter, where they rushed it to an emergency vet to be checked out. And finally, check out this kitty cat, Calamity, trapped underneath a car. Well, we think.
Is it actually stuck, or is it like just chilling there?
Fair question. Cats are curious creatures. Officers say this furball in question simply dashed under the car at a stoplight and slid up underneath, and so the rescuers had to do the same to coax out the cat.
It's okay, baby. It's okay.
Finally, getting a hand on the animal and plucking the pesky rabble-rouser from the undercarriage. After a safe extraction, the kitten was taken to local animal services. For Take a Look at This, I'm Patrick Cornell.
You said that's what you look like when you're getting your dog underneath your bed today. Was she caught under your bed?
Yes, so my dog does this thing where she does not like to go in her crate. She has attachment issues.
Hey.
So she looks for something to run under and hide under, and she went under my king-size bed.
Oh,
and that's what I look like trying to get her out.
She must have known it was a Monday.
Yes.
It's a very Monday.
It really is. I got stuck at every single red light on the way to work today, and I needed to get gas. It was not having it this morning.
Hopefully it gets a little better for you. Hope you're enjoying your Monday as well. We'll be right back with 3 to Know before you go. It's a beautiful Monday out there, Hannah.
It is. Here's a live look over at Dauphin Island. Beautiful blue skies. The water looks amazing and inviting as well. Definitely recommend getting outdoors today with these beautiful, pleasant weather conditions we're having. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back. This is an interesting story. These Pennsylvania artists turned pork meat into works of art. The Reading Terminal Market hosted its 2nd annual Scrapple Sculpting Contest and crowned a winner for the best sculpture made from scrapple breakfast meat.
We're here today to celebrate where food crosses over with creativity to create art.
Scrapple was traditionally the scraps from the pig. So that's how it originated, was a way to use the scraps from the pig.
Love Scrapple. Love Scrapple. It's best breakfast.
We are here for the 2nd annual Scrapple Carving Competition.
I'm from Pittsburgh. When I heard about the Scrapple Carving Competition, I thought, what a cool experience. I need to be there. I love Scrapple. I love Pennsylvania. This is my kind of thing. I need to be there.
I sculpted Scrapple last year. I'm not a big Scrapple eater, but I'm a big Scrapple sculptor.
I feel like Scrapple is a medium. The first thing that came to my mind was clay. I feel like I work with clay a lot. I really enjoy working with clay.
Something fun to do. I had a little bit of time to kill during the day. My kids are in school. Had an afternoon, figured I'd carve some meat, see what happens, you know.
If I show you guys, I got this last year.
I'm going with the local Philly Eagles theme. I'm gonna try and do the tush push out of meat. Thinking the mush push.
Pressure's on, but you still have halfway to go.
It can be pretty crumbly, but you are able to mold it.
Not ideal, but we're doing it. We're doing it.
You're never going to see an Amish person carving scrapple, I'll tell you that. We prefer to eat it.
So today I just want to award Patrick Moser for having a level of ambition, pushing Scrapple to its absolute limit, and bringing something forward that we could not have imagined. So congratulations.
It does feel very characteristically Philly, and I love it. I love the chaos, the excitement of it, yes.
Interesting and pretty impressive as well. It is time for 3 to Know Before You Go. Every day is a good day to celebrate the nation's service members, but today is extra special. That's because it's the U.S. Navy's actual birthday, observed every year on October 13th. It was on that date in 1775 that the Continental Congress green-lighted the first U.S. naval force. That makes Monday the Navy's 250th birthday. According to nationaldaycalendar.com, the Continental Navy had just 2 ships and a crew of 80 men at the time of its inception. Today, it has more than 340,000 active duty personnel and upwards of 71,000 reservists. And then a Disney sci-fi series sequel tops the box office but fails to meet expectations. Analytics company Comscore reports Tron Ares earned $33.5 million over the weekend, but despite winning the box office, Ares fell short of projection for its debut, as the movie had an estimated budget of $150 million. The latest film in the franchise comes 15 years after Tron Legacy, which debuted with $44 million and earned more than $400 million globally. In the meantime, Roofman placed second at the box office with $8 million, and One Battle After Another came in third with $6.6 million. And finally, MTV is turning off the music in Europe. It's shuttering its 5 channels in the UK, and they will go dark after December 31st. Its flagship channel, MTV HD, will stay on the air in the region, and it mainly airs reality shows like Teen Mom, not music videos. MTV launched a European channel in 1987 and a UK version in 1997. For folks in Europe wanting a new channel, they should just watch Fox 10.
I 1,000%
because we have a
agree.
live stream as well.
We do. We have a live stream, and then we also have our things after our shows to
There
keep
you go, a
them
plug for
right
us there. selling our channel here.
But let's take a look at your forecast. Day planner for today, pretty consistent with what we've been seeing over the past few days. We had a wonderful weekend, dry conditions, cool mornings too. I would even say a little bit on the chilly side. For our day planner today, definitely getting into that warmer temperature of the mid 80s. Plenty of sunshine out there. We don't have a chance for rain over the next few days either. Then overnight tonight, we'll get into the 60-degree range starting at 9 o'clock, but we can even drop into the 50s again tonight. So that's one thing to keep in mind for tomorrow morning. 7-day forecast shows the sunshine continues on. Could see an increase in cloud coverage as we get into Friday. We have a high pressure system building in, which is why it's increasing our temperatures. So we're usually around 81 degrees this time of year. Now we're getting close to that 90-degree mark in the upper 80s. Then it starts to weaken and a trough takes over, which is bringing a front to our area Saturday night. So we actually have an increase in our rain chances this weekend. We have about a 30-40% chance. Looks to be in the overnight hours Sunday morning when we really have an increase, about a 50 to 60% chance of seeing showers and thunderstorms. So hopefully it'll help us out with those drought-like conditions. Morning lows are staying pretty consistent as well on the cooler side, but going into this weekend, we're getting into the upper 60s again. So not as cool this weekend.
Right, not as cool, but better than what it's been.
Definitely, 1,000%.
We'll take it. We hope you have an amazing Monday. Thank you so much for spending time with us. We'll see you on Fox 10 Live at 3 p.m.